So we're going to talk today. I was here about a year and a half ago, and I talked a bit about the Cold War. And what we're going to do today is kind of roll back the clock 10 years. And we're going to go back to World War II and the Air War. And in particular, we're going to talk about the United States Army Air Forces versus the German Air Force, which we'll call the Luftwaffe throughout this presentation. And it was not so much a battle for control over the skies of occupied Europe, not the book that we'll talk about today, but rather it was a battle for the control of the skies during D-Day. Henry A. Hap Arnold. He was the commanding general of the United States Army Air Forces. He was a fascinating person. It says up there he was never satisfied, and he wasn't, and I'll tell you what that means. It says up there he was pragmatic, and he was, and I'll tell you what that means in a minute too. But Hap Arnold was one of the only people in the United States of America that really lived the entire span, width, and breadth of aviation. And I'll give you one thing that'll bear that truth out, and that was Hap Arnold, who ran the United States Army Air Forces in World War II, was licensed to fly by the Wright brothers. And we hit the planes on the ground. That was part of the strategy to get to the forward air bases, to hit the arms, the feet, and the head of the Luftwaffe. Now this looks like a pretty easy thing. It's a turkey shoot, you know, come on in, 50, 60 feet, hose them with your 50 caliber machine guns, have a couple of them blow up and go home and feel great. But the fact is, this is one of the most dangerous missions we flew, because the minute you were down in 50 feet, you were in the cone of their own defensive fire. You were inside their own 20 millimeter cannon fire, their own anti-aircraft fire. And so more often than not, a wingman would look over and his lead plane would just be gone in an instant. But they would do this repeatedly. They would come down and they would blow up the airplanes that were in the front lines that would do the most damage to our men as they came ashore.